Over the last 2 months, the country has been on a momentum of demanding accountability from state officials. The younger of the nation coming out to speak eloquently of how they think affairs of the nation ought to be managed. For 2 years now, Kenyans have spoken about how they want to be taxed. In the process, 2 tax laws are now outside the reach of the executive. The Finance Act 2023 was nullified by the Court of Appeal, while the Finance Bill 2024 was withdrawn after intense pressure from the people. The power of the people has been amplified by the repeated emphasis on the place of public participation. But that is at the national stage. Tonight on My Sense, I turn the focus to the smaller communities that Kenyans live in, the neighborhoods, the schools, the religious groupings, the chamas, the fundraising committees, wedding planning committees, and the WhatsApp groups created for different causes. How often do you speak up in these groups? How transparent are leaders in these communities? How often do leaders in those groups use the illusion of power against what ideally would be the transparent and accountable thing to do? Let me illustrate. To parents whose children are in basic education institutions, how often do you receive messages on WhatsApp requiring some contribution in support of your child's school activities? And what do you do about it? Or are you the type that says, quote, "Let me just pay so that my child is not targeted," end of quote? How often do you receive a WhatsApp message telling you, "Dear parent, please pay X amount of money to this number. Once you have paid, please send on inbox the confirmation code"? Sounds familiar? What if that were to happen in government? What if the Commissioner General of the Kenya Revenue Authority were to send you a WhatsApp message demanding payment of a levy or tax to their mobile wallet? Let me give you another example, this time in the religious sector. How often are WhatsApp groups created to raise resources for projects? How often do leaders of such WhatsApp groups dictate the direction that must be followed by everyone else? What accountability do you get for resources contributed? Let's talk about health facilities. Before you are accorded a service, how often is it explained to you what is required of you? If you complain of some symptoms, before they order for a kidney profile exam, do they explain why it's justified? Do you ask questions? When presented with a bill, do you ask what it is you're paying for, or do you just swipe the card because you want to get back home as fast as possible? If we are to raise a generation that appreciates public participation, transparency, and accountability as enshrined in the Kenyan Constitution, we must practice it. Our institutions must embrace it. Schools must account for all resources requested for from parents and guardians. Religious institutions too must, through their leadership teams, decide key initiatives to be pursued at the start of each year, and after that, map out means of attaining them. If resources are to be required, accountability too must be in the plan. You see, at the national level, the government is required to write its budget with the people involved. The revenue plans too require the involvement of the people. And as the Court of Appeal recently ruled, the people must be consulted and their views taken into account. If Parliament cannot sustain views from the public participation, the court found that it must give reasons to the people why not. Public participation must then begin at the smallest unit of society, that is, the family, and branch out to the neighborhood, community, school, church, mosque, temple, and other institutions. Failing to do so defeats the sense of demanding answers at the national level. If we did that, maybe we will avoid scamming of families in the name of education airlifts. If we did that, maybe we shall avoid the preying by rogue preachers out to rob followers of their limited possessions. If we did that, maybe we shall escape the rogue employment agencies out to sell unsuspecting youth to modern slave trade. If we did that, maybe we shall stop the perception of learning institutions taking advantage of parents' and guardians' complacency. If we did that, maybe we shall empower the young that represent the future of the nation to practice the discipline of hard work. And that is my sense tonight.